Let's try and sort of decode what exactly happened. Sunil Prabhu joins us now for the very latest on this story. Sunil, there are several unanswered questions as we look into this matter, right? There is a question of why the SPG rule book was not followed regarding PM's route. There's a question why was an unsanitized route even considered? Who cleared it? There's a question of where intelligence inputs were given about the protest at all. Was the police in the know? Was the SPG told? Did the Punjab state actually clear that route that the Prime Minister was to take? What's your reading on what's happening next on this? And is there a proper investigation on what unfolded? Who's responsible?
Well, definitely, as you rightly pointed out, the Ministry of Home Affairs has asked for a report from the state police about the various lapses. But as you rightly question, and these questions are something that while the state police are responsible for the bandobast, for the sanitization of the route, the big question that comes to everybody's mind is what was the role of the Special Protection Group? 430 crores are spent for protecting one individual. We are talking about an armored vehicle, and just recently it has been in the news about the Maybach Mercedes-Benz, which has been bought over nearly 12 crores of rupees, if not less. Those exact numbers will not be told. But in this case, when the SPG is embarking on a 111-kilometer route, they have used a convoy without the required, what is called the protocol of SPG, their own SPG vehicles. In terms of, usually, if you see those visuals on your screen, it's very clear that the Prime Minister's vehicle can be identified. Usually all vehicles are of the same color, they're black in color, the Fortuners are multiple, so that you can't really identify and see who the Prime Minister was. How did they embark on such a long trip? And the SPG chief, along with his DIG and AIG and the officers will need to answer, because this is a clear lapse. This is a clear violation of the Blue Book. How did they go ahead and embark on this trip of the 111 without clearances from the police? Did they do their own checks? What about the advanced security license, which needs 2 days in advance? There is a T-24, there is a T-48. All preparations are taking place, and then a T-3, which is basically 3 hours before the schedule of the Prime Minister, where everything is assessed once again. You keep changing your program. These are serious problems. These are serious lapses. And in this case, apart from the state police, the Special Protection Group, which, as I said, gets 430 crores to protect one individual, has failed miserably. They should not have, especially since it's a border state. How did they allow? And somebody in the top ranks of the SPG needs to be answered, needs to be suspended, because this trip should never have been undertaken without the route being completely sanitized.
Right. So you're making a very important point there, Sunil, that forget the political bickering over here. The clearances actually came from the SPG and they should be held responsible here. Just to sort of jog everybody's memory, the Prime Minister landed in Bhatinda earlier and he was to be flown to Firozpur rally by a helicopter. It was only because the weather did not clear up that it was a decision that he will take the road. So when you say a 2-hour clearance or a 3-hour clearance, there was simply no time for it, because this seems to be a decision which was taken on the spot.
That's right. It is definitely a decision. The Prime Minister, if you've seen those programs of the Prime Minister released by the Prime Minister's office, by his OSD, very clearly states that the planned route was by helicopter. Yes, because of inclement weather, which everybody is well aware, the Met Department and the SPG would have been told about the weather conditions. These are small, minute details. For people like us who have traveled with Prime Ministers and Presidents, there's an advanced security license which takes place. There's a big booklet. Every minute detail is taken care of. In case of an eventuality, which is the safe house, where does the Prime Minister stay? How are they to take certain precautions? And in the case of a border state, various agencies, apart from RAW, IB, the Army, everybody's, inputs are taken to ensure that the Prime Minister's route is taken. I mean, I'll just give you a point just to make you understand. When we traveled with the Prime Minister to Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the Navy was taken into account, the Indian Air Force was taken into account. All possible routes were taken, because you just can't play with the Prime Minister's security, and that's one of the most important things that needs to be done. And this is, I'm talking about times when tsunami. In fact, the SPG was able to even get its armored vehicles into Indira Point at that time when even relief and rehabilitation was difficult. And that's the kind of wherewithal that the SPG has. When you spend 430 crores for an individual, you need to take those safeguards. And in this case, here there were clear blue book violations, and something that the Prime Minister's office as well as the SPG will need to answer, apart from, of course, the state police for what is clearly a huge embarrassment.
Right, so Sunil, you're saying the buck must stop with the SPG on who gave clearance on this change in plan, and that he will be on the road for 2 hours to finally reach that place as well. Just to get an understanding from you, is it routine for Prime Minister's schedule to change last minute with weather conditions, etc. at this short notice, which seems to have been the case over here? Has this happened in the past? Generally, who takes a call and whose final clearance is finally taken into account before he changes his plan last minute?
See, so this is not at all routine. This, as you rightly and pointed this out, this is completely different, and this is something that doesn't take place on this is a very rare case. In this point, usually when there is a blue book violation, the SPG would have said no. But when the Prime Minister makes up his mind and decides that he wants to do it, just take for example, the protocol for the SPG is that there should be a bulletproof when the Prime Minister speaks from the rampart of the Red Fort. Ever since Narendra Modi has has become Prime Minister, he's removed that bulletproof protocol, because he feels that he wants to speak to the people without the bulletproof glass out there. And it's in that backdrop, it is finally the Prime Minister's call in what he wants to do and how he wants to go about it. There have been various violations by the Prime Minister, and we should never actually make political, points on this. But there have been several violations of the Blue Book by the Prime Minister in terms of, especially in the run-up to an election campaign. A classic would be in Gujarat, when he went on a single engine, the Seabird, to land ahead of the Gujarat elections the last time round. So these are issues that need to be taken into account. But ultimately, as we can say, this is clearly more politics than about Prime Minister's security. As has pointed out, the Prime Minister returned safely. There was not a stone thrown. Yes, the Prime Minister was vulnerable, but there was no terrorist, no untoward incident, and we have to thank that ultimately the Prime Minister is safe, but definitely big questions, not only on the state police, but on the Special Protection Group. Because as I said, and I keep pointing out, India's taxpayers spend 430 crores to protect one individual. Why were they found wanting? It is absolutely unacceptable for how they allowed the Prime Minister of this country to go ahead on a 111-kilometer route without the proper vehicles, without the proper convoy, just to make a political point at the end.